If I had to start photography from zero in 2026, here's exactly what I would do. No shortcuts, no existing clients, just me trying to build a photography business again. These are the exact steps I would take. The very first thing I would do is buy one camera and one lens and then stop looking at camera reviews for a long time. Seriously, I'd buy a full frame camera and pair with a 24-70 lens. That's it. It's one of the most versatile combinations ever made. Portraits? Check. Events? Check. Families? Check. Travel, food, products? Check. You can do it all. Is it perfect for every situation? No, but it's incredibly good at almost everything, and that's exactly what a beginner needs. The less time you spend worrying about gear, the more time you'll spend actually improving your photography. Trust me, your clients won't ask if you shot their photos with the newest camera. They'll only care if the photos look great. Once I had the camera, the very next investment I'd make would not be another lens. It would be education. Specifically, I take an editing course. There are so many beginner photographers whose images could actually be pretty good if they didn't completely destroy them during editing. Oversaturated colors, orange skin, crushed blacks, clarity at 100, HDR looking portraits, we've all seen those photos. And if you've been doing photography for a while, you probably make those edits yourself at some point too. A good Lightroom course and some basic Photoshop training can completely change the quality of your work. Editing is part of photography. Learning to use your camera is only half the job, and learning to edit correctly from the very beginning will save you from having to unlearn bad habits later. Something I wish I would have learned much sooner is flash photography. Most beginners imagine themselves shooting golden hour portraits every evening, but your first paid jobs will probably be like birthday parties or family events, maybe corporate gatherings, baby showers, graduation parties, or maybe even small weddings. Well, guess what all of those have in common? Terrible lighting and dozens of people taking photos with their phones. If you know how to use a flash properly, you immediately become more valuable than someone who just doesn't, and you're gonna get better photos than Uncle Fred. And don't overcomplicate it. You don't have to master complicated multi-light setups right away. Understanding how to bounce light, when to use flash compensation, and how to make your images look natural will make you stand out much sooner. When someone asks, "Can I see your work?" you need to have something to show. It's finally time to build your portfolio. We all know someone who can benefit from professional images. The goal isn't to make money yet. The goal is to build a portfolio that actually shows people what you are capable of. As soon as I had that portfolio started, I created a dedicated photography Instagram account. Even if nobody follows me at first, it's one of the easiest ways to show that you're active and consistently producing work. Clients like seeing photos. They like seeing that you're out shooting regularly. They like seeing behind the scenes moments, new projects, finished edits, and even your own growth over time. And here's something people underestimate. Seeing someone consistently working creates confidence. After all of that, I'd ask an experienced photographer if I could shadow them for free. Not necessarily as a second shooter. Honestly, I'd be perfectly happy just carrying bags around all day if it meant I could watch how a professional works. I probably choose a wedding photographer, to be completely honest, because weddings force photographers to shoot almost everything. At this point, because I've already learned my camera and started shooting, I'll actually understand what I'm actually watching. Those are lessons that are incredibly difficult to learn from a YouTube video, so I would shadow a photographer for sure. After that, and once I actually have some work coming in, I'd embrace artificial intelligence immediately. Not because I want AI to replace my photography, but because I want it to make me faster. Learn photography first, learn composition, learn lighting, learn posing, learn editing, but once you understand all those fundamentals, let AI handle repetitive tasks. Let it help you cull thousands of images, like with Aftershoot. Let it speed up your editing, like with Aftershoot. Let it organize your workflow. Think of it as another tool in your camera bag, not as a replacement for your skills. Finally, and probably the biggest piece of advice I'd give myself, is not to quit my day job too early. Too many people expect photography to become a full-time income within a few months, and that's just not the way it usually works. Building a client base takes time. If you have another source of income while your photography business grows, you'll make much better decisions because you won't be desperate for every single client. Focus on learning your gear instead of buying more gear. Learn to edit properly, master Flash, build a portfolio, show your work consistently, learn from professionals, embrace the tools that make you more efficient, and grow your business patiently. Looking back, I honestly think this 8 steps would have saved me years of trial and error. Photography is one of those careers where experience matters, but making smart decisions early matters just as much. Anyways, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to follow Aftershoot in all of our social media to be always up to date with the latest we have to offer. See you all in the next one. Bye.